This video is a Rack and Road video going over track installations with Aaron Dixon and John Bauer. We're with Aaron now. He's going to explain how to put the riv nut on. I guess John's going to say that you can do it with one pull. With one pull. So let me get a close up here. Okay.
Basically, slip your riv nut on, thread it on a couple turns.
Okay. Let me back this up real quick. Okay.
Go ahead and hold the riv nut.
Hold the riv nut.
And just plunger it down a little.
Okay.
And then there you go, you're set.
Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and do our first one. Let me get a close-up of this.
Here's what I'm worried about. Go ahead and do it.
He's pulling.
Done.
That's it. Okay, so tell me what you do. You compress, you grabbed, what did you do?
Basically, all you do is one pull.
Okay.
Which will compress that riv nut completely closed.
Okay.
Then once that's pulled, you just pull it up on the plunger and it's done.
And how do you know? I mean, what kind of pressure? 60 pounds of pressure, 30 pounds of pressure? Or you'll just know that it's tight?
You just know because it'll stop. The riv gun can
not
only go so far.
Okay, so once you stop, then what you're saying is you pull up on the back part, on the very back of it, just that'll allow it to come out, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, if you do not have one of these guns, please call the SAC store.
Yeah, we'll get another one.
Yes.
Okay, good. I think it's really funny to talk about that because a lot of guys, I don't even know if they know we have them. And how long do these guns last, Aaron?
Well, honestly, the guns should last you a year, 2 years without having any problems. We've had one in here that's lasted us 2.5 years without an issue.
What's the first thing to go, or where's the fallout points and what causes them?
Usually, these are greased, so you want to keep them lubed with just regular axle grease.
Okay.
And also, sometimes these threads will start to shred.
Okay, they will.
Over time, it's their threads.
Is that just from use, or is it because someone's doing it wrong?
Usually doing it wrong. But if you're doing a lot of track, you're probably just wearing them out.
Like Sacramento does, right, Aaron?
Correct.
Because you guys know how to sell them real well.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, we've already got one in, and I keep saying we're going to come back when this is done, but there's so many great things these guys are talking about, but we'll go ahead and put the rest of them in. Here's how quick it takes to put a riv nut in.
And also, I don't want to mention, once you lay your bead of E6000 down, you only have about 2 minutes of time to get them all in because it dries so fast.
Okay. All right. That's it. That quick. Faster than a QTR installation. Or I would say a 400 XT installation as well for selling Thule. Wow. Fast.
Hi, honey.
Real quick, we're going to talk about it. There's about 10 holes in the track itself. We only put 5 of the 10. Obviously, you have to do the first one, and you have to do the last one, or reverse that. But so I noticed when they were marking it, I was curious if they were just going to go ahead and drill a couple of them, put it down, and drill the rest. But we only need 5 out of the 10 on a medium, or 6 out of 12 on a large, or depending on what it is.
Okay, notice we still haven't laid anything on the roof.
All the riv nuts are down, right?
All the riv nuts are in. So now what we're doing is we're laying a second layer. Now keep in mind, the first layer we put on was very small. The second layer, I like to call it half a Hershey Kiss. So, and also I've noticed guys are like twirling it and doing some weird things. If you just put it on and smear it off in the direction the track goes, you don't need to worry about making a mess. So just put half a Hershey Kiss and then smear it forward or backward.
And you probably also don't get it all over your hands, right?
Yeah, you won't get it on your hands.
Wow.
Everything's a lot cleaner. Put your half a Hershey Kiss on, and if you're gonna do a little extra on any of them, you want to put it on the very front or the very rear riv nut, because those are partially exposed to the elements. So if you do a little extra on the front, it's a good idea.
Perfect.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And we already did the other side, so we're going to put the track on in just a second.
Now, one thing that we always do is we pre-assemble the rack before we even start doing the track. That'll save you some time later because you can actually do this before the customer arrives.
Perfect.
So save you some time. Now, you're basically going to lay this down. Everything's loose, and you're going to measure your bar ends and then you're going to tighten your screw to the bar. Now, one thing to note is when you tighten this bolt, you want to actually engage the door and tighten the bolt while the door is partially.
I'm gonna get a close up of the bolt, John. I'm probably gonna come from a different angle, but
the bolt is on this side.
Okay.
So you want to partially engage the cam and then tighten the bolt to the bar.
And if you don't partially engage the cam, what happens?
Everything tends to fit better if you actually engage it first before you tighten the screw. Because knowing that the plungers have engaged means everything's seating correctly, and then when you tighten the screw, it just makes everything right. If you just tighten the screw willy-nilly without knowing everything's lined up, you have a decent chance that the customer is going to have a really hard time opening and closing the cam door.
Got it. And just real quickly, as I was leaning over videoing that, I decided to put my elbow on top of the roof of the car and oil canned it. And oil canning basically means that it's going to push in and it'll pop right out. It's very different than denting the roof. So just be aware, try to stay away from the center. The center of this is, I don't know if you can see this, but it just pops up and down. They're incredibly weak compared to the cars of the older days. That's again why we have to get the track to the farthest of the outside.
I do this all the time now.
So John's basically saying leave everything loose, just like we're doing with those screws that we're putting in the track. And once we get everything set up, the bars are balanced left and right, they know their front and rear is balanced, then they're going to start tightening everything up. Is that correct, John?
That's correct. I kept everything loose still, and visually I line it up, and then if you don't have a tape measure on you, which you should, but if you don't, you want to save some time, I use my Allen wrench as a gauge, and I'll go ahead and line it up with the bar end, and then I'll walk to the other side, stick it up here, and I'm about a ½ inch off. So all I need to do is move it a ¼ inch and I'm ready to tighten it.
Yeah, and another thing you need to notice, it's all what the eye can see. And when I did measure, if it looked good to my eye, it looks good to their eye for the most part. But that's a pretty easy way to measure what John did. He's not going to come back and measure the ¼ inch that he moved it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, within
Slips inside of it.
visual, you're okay.
Yeah, probably within a ¼ inch to ½ inch or even more, people aren't even going to notice it. Okay, so they're tightening it up. Rack should be pretty much assembled. At this point, once we get the base rack system on, guys, it's no different than having any other type of base rack on any type of vehicle, Yakima or Thule. Start assembling your accessories, always keeping in mind the hatchback, as John said, the accessories that are going on it. You might want to even take consideration crossbar spread for if it's for skiing. Are you adding a fairing to it? Cargo boxes, wind drag. Talk to the customer about what they're carrying on the vehicle, and it's going to make it a lot easier for the install, so you don't have to change it when they come back. Thank you very much, Aaron Dixon and John Bauer, and that's basically wraps up how to put a track system on a car.
My best friend gave me the best advice. He said each day